felt kind of boring and empty. So there were a couple of other things that happened at Temple too that just, it was very political. It's a reform, so it's not, you're not really told you need to keep kosher. You're not really told you need to follow these laws. You just kind of live your life, and you come to Temple on the weekends and go back out and live your life. And there were a lot of social justice initiatives that they were part of, things like, I don't want to say that the rabbi was teaching these things in the temple, because he wasn't, but I know a lot of the members were very pro-abortion and that kind of thing. And even though I didn't really think about it at that time, I wasn't for it because I knew my parents weren't really for it, but that was more of a political thing versus a religious thing, that at least that's the way that I always interpreted it. And like I said, I believe there was a God, and I always thought about heaven and hell, but I never really had the guidance. I wasn't getting guidance from the religious upbringing. Anyway, so I stopped going. My mom and I both just sort of stopped going to temple altogether because we weren't feeling fed there, and we were more confused than anything. And looking back, it's so funny. I don't know if I told you this before, Dan, but when I was still either part of the Hillel or after the Hillel, I still had that desire to get to know more about Judaism. And it was so weird. This one day, I was walking across campus and out of this one building, and this man approaches me. He's got these curls and this hat, and he comes up and he hands me this big flat box, like a pizza box. And it turns out he's from the Chabad house here in Grand Rapids, and he was inviting me over to their Passover Seder. And thinking, well, okay, this is interesting. I thought he was just approaching random college students. I mean, because he didn't know me, I didn't know him, and that was the only interaction we'd ever had. And I remember going back to my apartment and telling my mom, I said, hey, this could be kind of fun, but I don't want to go by myself. I think I'll invite some of my friends here. And she said, well, Rachel, I don't know if they'll let non-Jewish people into that Seder. And I was thinking, well, I was confused because there's no way that guy could have known I was Jewish. So I called the Chabad house and asked, and they said, oh no, only Jewish people. So it's very weird. It's one of those coincidences that you can't explain away because it wasn't a coincidence. And I really believe that God was trying to say, I know that you're interested, Rachel. I know you want to find me, but this isn't where you're going to find me.